I'm Tim Malloy with the Civic Association. This is Palm Beach TV. Palm Beach County moving gradually and carefully toward phase 2 of the coronavirus recovery for all of us. And the town of Palm Beach is following along, though carefully. Restaurants and other food establishments, including clubhouses, banquet halls, ballrooms, must continue to operate at 50% capacity for indoor service, but may now provide bar-top meal service. Full capacity seating for outdoor dining is permitted. For both indoor and outdoor seating, 6 feet of separation must still be maintained between parties, and parties may not exceed 10 people. In-store retail establishments, museums, libraries, gyms, fitness centers, other personal service establishments may now open at 100% capacity, but limited to parties of no more than 10 and ensuring that parties maintain 6 feet of separation. Playhouses, venues with less than 400 seats, may reopen at 33% capacity, and skating centers are permitted to accommodate up to 25 skaters at a time. Establishments within the town of Palm Beach are currently prohibited from serving alcohol or food for on-site consumption, whether indoor or outdoor, between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. And, importantly, the mandatory face coverings order remains in effect. The town of Palm Beach has the option, but not the obligation, to go exactly along with what the county is doing. That has led to sort of a mixed bag of options for the town. Here's Wendy Rutledge on that.
Tim, we wanted to learn how phase 2 reopening would affect various kinds of businesses. What we found is that phase 2 reopening affects businesses differently depending on the type of business you are operating.
Our bar would hold normally 18 seats, and we would now be allowed to have 18 seats. But every other one would have to be vacant for social distancing, so we'd end up with a net of 9 seats.
Franklin DeMarco has co-owned iconic Worth Avenue restaurant Taboo since the early 1990s. This cozy, eclectic establishment has a fire code capacity seating of 200. Phase 2 reopening would allow him to fill all 200 seats with 6 feet social distancing, and therein lies the problem.
The percent of occupancy is not what governs. The social distancing, having people and tables 6 feet apart, is what governs.
So even though DeMarco can open up to 100% capacity with social distancing of 6 feet between tables, he will have to keep it just as it was at 50%, which in the case of Taboo is 73 seats, plus the very desirable outdoor seating, which, with proper separation, is now allowed at 100% capacity.
Hi everyone, it's Jane and Heather, and we are excited to announce that this amazing wall behind us that consists of all of your favorite Belfords and Kinross sweaters are going to be on sale for 3 days only.
The enthusiastic sales staff at local women's clothing retailer Mildred Hoyt has turned to high-energy online sales to cope with the limited in-store interaction with customers due to COVID-19. Phase 2 will allow stores like this to open to 100% capacity. But Mildred Hoyt buyer, Molly Randall, doesn't think the store will be making many changes, at least not until the seasonal crowds return.
At this time in Palm Beach, there are not very many people here. So just for that general reason, our foot traffic probably won't necessitate that we would have the occupancy here. But we're just going to continue to stay a very, very clean environment, wearing masks, social distancing.
As for gyms, Phase 2 gave the green light to open up to 100% capacity, provided people could work out 6 feet apart. That is an option the fitness center at the Mandel Recreation Center could opt for, but won't.
We're not changing any procedures at this point in time. We've been on an appointment basis only, allowing 4 members in during each training session. And that's really met the needs of our members.
Finally, that 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew imposed on the island for the past few months has been lifted. The emergency order imposing the curfew was officially canceled on Wednesday, September 9th.
The water in the ocean is the warmest it has been this summer, and that makes this point of the hurricane season the most precarious for all of us. This is the point in the season where the storms tend to develop further out in the Atlantic Ocean, particularly near the Cape Verde Islands. Those storms, which grow in size and intensity as they make the long trek westward across the Atlantic, are historically the most powerful and destructive of hurricanes. There are several systems in the Atlantic right now. None of them at the moment appear to be a threat to Florida. We are on record-setting pace for the number of tropical storms and systems for all time right now. Town of Palm Beach is about to have its September Town Council meeting. Word is it'll be the last one done remotely. What are the important issues, the ones we need to know about? Wendy Rutledge has more on that.
Tim, the Palm Beach Town Council is closely monitoring the coronavirus, and we will get a special report on that. In addition, the council is going to be making some very important decisions regarding the park adjacent to the new marina, among other important agenda items.
We blew it in May, June, and July. Blew it. We had positivity rate of 17%, 14%. That just means you have a lot of virus in the community. So I'm making an appeal to everyone. I know we can do this. We're going to do this very carefully. I think the county commissioner and Dr. Alonso, whom I think the world of, has done a terrific job in creating an incremental approach to how we go about this.
A stern warning delivered by Council President Zeidman as town residents transition to more relaxed COVID-19 restrictions under Phase 2 reopening guidelines. Zeidman's warning refers to the huge July spike in cases following what some experts believe was a premature Phase 1 reopening back in May. But recent weeks of low positivity rates in Palm Beach County suggest this time, with continued mask wearing, hand washing, and social distancing, we may be ready for it.
Positivity rate, average positivity rate in Palm Beach County was almost 14% at the peak on July 10th. And now the 7-day moving average has brought us down to just under 4%.
Even so, Mayor Caniglio urging residents to stay the course to avoid another uptick in cases of COVID.
We're not out of the woods yet. Please be responsible, particularly those that are in and out of town, that we're going to be back to 1 or less than that if we do not behave.
The real hot button issue on the September agenda, what to do with the Lakeside Drive Park adjacent to the marina. Reading from a letter sent by the Royal Park Homeowners Association, Council President Pro Tem Bobby Lindsay says these homeowners are all for relocating the lake trail to right along the seawall in the water.
The RPHA community is strongly in favor of the Fairfax and Salmon's design, and we would like to have the plan implemented in its entirety. However, if there are insufficient funds to pay for the full project, we would strongly insist on the following elements as presented by Ann Fairfax in her memo to Paul Brazil. Moving the lake trail to the seawall.
Though aesthetically pleasing, moving the lake trail would be a big ticket expense.
Relocation of the trail against the bulkhead. Right now, between the existing path and the bulkhead, there are several utilities. Water main, sewer, we have lift stations, we've got AC units, as well as the transformers and the disconnects for the electric service as well. So there's a lot of utilities here. All of those need to be relocated. And then we would, you have to remove the old trail, so there's asphalt and Lom Rock base. You have to remove that, dispose of it, bring that part of the site back up to grade, excavate, recompact, bring in new base material and new tabby on the other side. I'm not quite sure if people realize the complete scope of work necessary to relocate the trail. And that's why you're going to see some big numbers later on.
Council members grappled for hours with 3 options ranging in price from $7.4 million to $3.7 million. After many questions to experts and much debate, Council narrowly voted to avoid the expense and leave the lake trail where it is now. More Lakeside Park renovation decisions to come in October. Finally, something everyone could agree on.
Mr. Crampton?
Aye.
Ms. Ariskog?
Yes, gladly.
Ms. Moore?
Yes, absolutely.
Ms. Lindsay?
Yes.
Ms. Zeidman?
Indeed.
By a unanimous vote, the Palm Beach Town Council voted to close the public beach from Wells Avenue South to Sunset Avenue to the public from sunset to sunrise. For the Palm Beach Civic Association, I'm Wendy Rutledge reporting.
Sure doesn't seem like 19 years, but 19 years ago this week, 9/11 happened and our lives changed forever. I covered it as a reporter for 2 weeks, and a member of the Civic Association, a retired U.S. Army Ranger, his life was changed dramatically at that moment as well. I spoke to Matt Eversman.
You knew that you were going to war. Anybody that was wearing a uniform on, 9/11 knew this was absolutely war. We were all going to go in some way, shape, or form. This was an evil act that was going to be met with.
In one of the couple of years, you were involved in the surge.
I was. I went to Iraq in 2006, which turned out to be that 15-month rotation known as the surge. What did we see on 9/11? We saw the greatest examples that I've seen in my lifetime of selfless service. I mean, think of the pictures we saw of firemen and first responders down at Ground Zero. You think about the stories we heard of all these men and women that rushed into the towers and literally gave of themselves. I mean, this selfless service. And you think of all the soldiers that have gone out chasing down bad guys for the last 19 years. And I personally always am just drawn to this idea of people giving of themselves. I mean, that's all I can say. There's nothing, earth-shattering. It's putting the needs of others first.
And hundreds of thousands of our people went over and fought in that war, and then again Afghanistan as well, where you've been. So it was almost a clarion call to service, and the bell went off, and we're still there.
Absolutely, and it's a good debate to have. Certainly not for today, but whether we're there is right or wrong, I don't know. But I do know this, that we have been chasing people, enemies of our country, for 19 years, and we hadn't caught them all. I'm not sure that makes it right or wrong, Tim, but I do know this. I do know it's greater than any one person that we commit ourselves and young men and women to protect us. We're at a point in history where, if we're using 9/11 as our benchmark, there are kids, and I say that with affection, there are kids over in Iraq and Afghanistan now that weren't even born on 9/11. I mean, let that sink in a little bit. I mean, it's pretty amazing, the fabric of these kids that are serving.
I'm Tim Malloy with the Civic Association and Palm Beach TV, where membership matters. If you are a member, we hope you will renew. If you aren't a member, we hope you'll join us, because we try to keep you informed at all times. We leave you now with a look at the Atlantic Ocean and a hope that we have a quiet week as well as the weeks ahead. See you soon.